I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For Yahweh, your Elohim, will be with you wherever you go. You see the rain's outside, inside I'm crying. My pain's so high, almost lost my mind. But I'm happier now that I bow down before him. Ask me what I'm doing for him. Yah should make you dance. The word should make you move. Forget about your cares. It's not up to you. Let's show the Father praise. Living in these last days, we don't have no time. His grace we cannot waste. Give him all the glory. Shout unto the sky. Girl, get on your knees. Pray to the Most High. Stop the blood clot warrior, cause it won't do none. Claim the victory. The battle's already won. See the rain's outside, inside I'm crying. My pain's so high, almost lost my mind. But I'm happier now that I bow down before him. Ask me what I'm doing for him. And his glory is my story. I thought I never would be hurt again. Till the Most High made me whole again. Now, I'm a keeper. I'm my sister's keeper. I hope you never have to cry again, friend. May the Most High lift your head again, friend. So he gets the glory, 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 glory. Keeper, keeper, keeper.
You're tuned in to My Sister's Keeper radio show each and every Sunday at 6 p.m. here on Blog Talk Radio. Be sure to follow My Sister's Keeper radio on all social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, and join our live podcast discussions on all podcast platforms where we provide a voice for today's Hebrew woman. Based on the foundation of the Word, we discuss culture, music, news, health, family, relationships, and provide a safe platform for our daughters of Zion to find spirit when coming into the truth.
Happy Sunday, sis. I'm your host, Anakoti Tafara Yasharal, and thanks for tuning in to My Sister's Keeper radio show and podcast. And we're here each and every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope that the presence of the Most High is with you today, sis. We're chilling today, and we're having a sister talk. It's Sister Talk Sunday, where we're going to discuss a variety of topics and situations that could use some wisdom and some advice. So today we have I say we have 3 sister topics, but I know we have more. But we have 3 Sister Sunday topics, and we're going to dive into them and listen to some really good music. I want to share some news with you guys. And, we have a new segment called Hebrew Spotlight. And with the Hebrew Spotlight, we're going to be showcasing all of our wonderful Hebrew entrepreneurs. So be sure, if you'd like to be featured in the Hebrew Spotlight, to send us over your information to My Sister's Keeper Radio show. My Sister's Keeper Radio at Gmail. That's My Sister's Keeper Radio at Gmail. Okay? And you can send in your questions too, your comments, if you'd like to volunteer. Goodness, we got so much we got to share today, So let's get right into it. So we're going to be talking today about one of the main topics that I get. I mean, it's just age old, but of course it's about marriage. How to rekindle the marriage. Some women are coming into the walk and they are experiencing marriage for the first time and just needing a little advice. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Being a better sister to your sisters. What does that look like? Let's have let's have an uncandid conversation about it, and really dig in, what's up with the sisterhood these days. So, of course, we're going to be hitting the Dear Sister question corner as well. And, there's some really good ones in there. So I'm excited to bring it to you today. So I hope your day is going well. And listen, have you been tuned in to our 90-day Sisterhood Spiritual Challenge? Well, if you have not, you need to join in. I think we're somewhere around day 6 or 7, but you can join our Facebook group at My Sisters Keeper Radio Show and Podcast. You can join us there and you can jump right in. Or you can visit our website, mysisterskeeperradio.com. Listen, we are all over the internet and all of the podcast sites, so make sure to follow us. But the 90-day Sisterhood Spiritual Challenge, it's really for you to just get in the habit of doing something, right? I mean, you've been pondering the word, you've been trying to change your life, and you just want to learn, you want to have a foundation. You want to learn the principles, but you just want to do something that you can say you accomplished. And what better way than to give yourself 90 days of daily reading, daily prayer, right? Health, all of that good stuff. So let's just keep a positive outlook, and let's encourage each other, right? So anyways, let's go ahead and get right into it here on My Sisters Keeper Radio Show and Podcast.
Back to life, back to reality, back to life, back to reality, back to life.
You're tuned into My Sisters Keeper Radio Show and Podcast.
Back to reality, back to life, back to reality, back to life, back to reality.
Trying to get back to the blueprint. Tired of living reverse, turning misfit. All the time that I wasted, not to mention how my soul stayed lost. Man, I tried, but I couldn't quit. Quit the drink, quit the drugs, and the sexing. In the club, every night, steady flexing. Man, you couldn't tell me nothing, I was all in. Self-hate, couldn't see what I was missing. My life was full of the setbacks I never could take back. Decisions I made that was devastating, but not because of the drawbacks. I'm making a comeback. I'm pulling with no slack, no hesitating. Working on a better me. Man, my attitude was wrong, I was going no filter, but a higher made me see. When the tongue used for wicked, how damaging it could really be. Seen all the pain I was causing, not resolving my issues. Now I'm focused on evolving, show love to those who diss you. Being led down the wrong path all of my life, had to set sail for a new direction. Fight battles every day, seek the Father every time for that spiritual correction. I need to get back. I wanna get back. I gotta get back. I'm trying to get back. I need to get back. I wanna get back. I gotta get back. Learn to get it right. Try not to lose my mind. Cleaning up this soul of my head. And I couldn't stop now if I wanted. Have a Christ walk, yeah, man, I'm on it. Dealing with these trials every day in this thing called life. Back to the basics. Back to the basics. Time for some realness. Time for some realness. This game that we played it. Hit repeat is a weakness. Getting sick of all the lies that they're showing on the news. Never let the people know what the truth is. All of a sudden you start thinking for yourself. Start to break away the chains. Man, they rather see you lose. But how did we lose it? How did we get it? What was the reason for a nation to forever be convicted? And it's now that we need the trials we can beat it. Christ, he defeated all the obstacles. It's time for us to see it now. Man, we need to face it. Man, it's time to make some changes. If you think we gon' make it, come together, build a solid foundation. I need to get back. I wanna get back.
You're tuned into My Sister's Keeper Radio Show and podcast. Welcome back, Akoti. This is your host, Tafara Yasharal, here on My Sister's Keeper Radio Show. And you can tune in with us each and every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to follow us on our social media. That's IG, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. The list goes on and on. My Sister's Keeper Radio Show. So, Akoti, it is Sister Sunday. And, we have been just, kind of hanging out here, and we're going to be talking about a variety of things. And one of the most popular topics that I'm always getting in the inbox would be in relation to relationships, marriage. Yes, it's that age old. And I say age old because mostly when we endure this walk, when we are coming to the realization and the understanding that we are the Israelites in the Bible, we're Yah's chosen. There is a lot of transformation, a lot of culture, a lot of things that we need to learn, that we need to dissect, that we're being introduced to. And most often, typically, when a woman is being introduced into this walk, maybe say at a adult age, she may be introduced in by a gentleman who may be interested in her. And then, the talks of marriage and things become. And there's a lot of misconception there, because, it's really wonderful when you find the word and you find someone that is passionate about their salvation and someone that just wants to, seek after Yah's heart and, get into the kingdom and live a sin-free lifestyle to the best of their abilities. And that's a wonderful thing to find a mate that can carry that vision with you. But what about when you guys are just not, necessarily on the same page, when things get a little lost in translation, when, conversations weren't clear or, didn't happen at all, and when two don't agree. And so then the walk begins to get rough and tough. And we start to realize that marriage isn't just the glitz and the glamour. It isn't just the coming together with families and the joy and the love, but it can be compromised and it can be tough. It can be rough. And so, we need a safe space, a safe platform to talk about it. And so let's talk about it. Rekindling marriage. That's been, like I said, a really heavy topic. How to rekindle a marriage. Now, I don't like to speak. First and foremost, I would never speak on the topic unless I was married, and I am. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of my personal, and I'm going to give you, of course, a lot of what the Most High has to say about it, because, we have to take ourselves out of the equation. And even in my marriage, I'm still learning. So, yes, congratulations. We're all here together. So, because rekindling a marriage can take effort. It takes commitment and a willingness to make changes. And so, what I've learned, just in trial and error, the biggest thing, is to communicate openly. I believe communication is key to any successful relationship, but definitely marriage. But just take the time. Take the time to listen to your partner, share your thoughts, and share your thoughts and your feelings and be honest about it. Oftentimes we're not able to say exactly what we feel because we're afraid to hurt someone's feelings, or we don't want to be reprimanded or scorned or, scalded. And that's not a good feeling when you feel like you can't, say how you really feel. But, communication is just key. It's just being able to respect each other's understanding and then go to the word. Now that you've gotten out what it is that you are, you're feeling and what you understand, and these are your thoughts, and you're listening to one another, then go to the word and find out thus says Yah, right? And correct yourself. So that way it doesn't have to come from anyone but the word. But at least you both were being honest and giving each other that safe space. So definitely communication. I also feel that spending quality time together, we get together, when we meet someone, we're doing all that fun stuff in the beginning, right? Like we're going out, we're traveling, we're having these little fun dates. We're just painting the town. I mean, there's sky's the limit, right? We're doing this, we're doing that. So you got to make an effort. But then when you get together and then life happens and then bills start kicking in and people, they need your time, and you can't just live on Love Island forever. You got to step back into the real world, and folks are pulling at you. Okay. And so you definitely can get away from that consistent time, that attention that you're used to giving one another. And so we can feel, unappreciated. We can feel alone. Sometimes women, we can feel rejected, just because we're not getting the level of attention that we maybe were used to, or maybe we thought that we should be getting. So while spending quality time has its boundaries and its balance, it is important. Do things that you both enjoy, all right? And just find some time to do it. But don't hinder each other's works. And that's another, you don't want to make your lifestyle lean towards having a good time versus, getting things accomplished, making sure that you're growing, making sure that your good time does involve the Most High. But there's so many different simple things that you can do. Me and my husband, we take walks in the park. We like watching movies. We like cooking together. And we definitely like music. So there's just some things that we can do together that won't, that won't take up too much of our time from our own selves. And then, also setting boundaries, having some alone time, being a little mysterious. There's nothing like a clingy couple. Folks, they got to lay up under each other all the time. Give each other some space. Give your husband some space, okay? Go and find you something productive to do. Learn a new skill. Get into some more scriptures. Find a new hobby. But don't spend your time monitoring someone else's time. That's not healthy. So you have to be mindful that, everyone needs their space and boundaries. And likewise to the women. Moms need a break. Give her a break sometimes, fellas, So yeah, these are some wonderful tips. One other thing is that I've been told that in this community, affection is the issue. Being affectionate. Physical touch is important, but intimacy, making an effort to hug, kiss, and cuddle with your partner. Nobody is righteous, but so the overly righteous behavior, just understand that you have a mate. Someone signed up to be with you and to spend their life with you. So try to make it where they feel appreciated. They feel loved. They feel that you're being affectionate towards them. Showing appreciation, taking the time to show your partner that you appreciate them, saying wonderful things, encouraging them, giving compliments, showing gratitude for the little things they do. Yes, I can definitely point out 1,000 little things that you don't do. Oh yeah, I got that one. But what about the things that you do? Is it a challenge for me to point out the good things? Mute myself when I decide that I want to complain. Those are some really, really great tips, because listen, we have to live this life. We want to keep our covenant. You have a whole lifetime to get it right? And even though you're not promised tomorrow, you want to make sure that you're doing the best that you can today. And so understanding what the scripture says on the duties of a wife will keep you in line and in tune, at least on the right side of mercy with the Most High when it comes to your marriage. So here's a few things that we just don't want to forget. And, it starts off with Proverbs 31, right? Because we all know the Proverbs 31 woman. An excellent wife who can find. She is far more precious than jewels. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not harm all the days of her life. So the blessing is going to come when you are being obedient to your husband, when he can trust you, when you are doing him good and no harm, when you're not talking foul to him, because that's really a reflection of how you, think of yourself. Making sure that you're trustworthy, that you're industrious, and committed to doing good for your husband, so that you can invoke the gifts, the blessings from the Most High, because he says you're far more precious than jewels. That means that not every woman can pull that off, right? So that is something to actually ponder on. It says, let the wife see that she respects her husband in Ephesians 5:33. And I know sometimes it's tough because we're right. We want to be heard. And when we don't get the response that we are looking for, we feel some kind of a way. And we feel like we gotta, maybe say how we feel about it, talk back, become disgruntled. And being disgruntled is something that is a human nature, but you have to know how to horn in and manage your mouth, manage yourself, step to the side. If you must say something, go in a private area and scream, or do whatever you got to do, but do it in a quiet area, in a place where you don't have to repeat that out loud, because it's just the spirit, and it will pass. I've been caught in those moments so many times where I have, allowed my anger to speak before my heart and my mind. And in fact, I let my anger at times speak for me, and I wasn't even really upset about the situation. It was just a learned physical behavior. So over time, as I started to break the habit of having to respond to everything, I had to remember, that it'll just pass. The time can pass, the peace will come back, and then I can be, respectful, I can be clear-minded, and I can respond with wisdom. So this scripture emphasizes the importance of respect in a marriage. A wife should show respect to her husband and honor him as the leader of the family. You did choose to be his wife. You said yes. So you have to, even if he's not the best leader, I know that's a little tough, but again, Yah is giving you the instructions, and he's telling you how to invoke his favor. See, he can act on your behalf, but you have to do your part. Everything doesn't just start with you. Sometimes you got to put in the work and bow down. Make sense? Okay. Likewise, wives, be subject to your own husbands, so that even if some that do not obey the word, they may be won without a word by the conduct of their wives. Now that's 1 Peter 3:1. So again, what it's saying here is that you need to be subject to your own husbands. Okay. And if they don't obey the word, if they're being, off, if they're getting haughty or prideful, or, they're just not meeting the mark, and they're not living up to the word or the expectation, if they're being rude, whatever the case may be, you don't meet fire with fire. I know it's so easy to put the check down, to slam down, but in reality, the Most High is saying that no, you can be won, or a man can be won without you even uttering a word, just by your conduct, your behaviors. So it's something as simple as, not uttering or mumbling. Something so simple as keeping a smile on your face. Something so simple as ignoring any ignorance, staying in prayer, remaining busy, being peaceful, ignoring rude remarks and behavior. Now, of course, I don't condone violence, and I don't condone verbal abuse or physical abuse, so don't stick around for that. But in reality, you're going to have some tough days, you're going to have some tough decisions, and you're going to have some tough personalities to get through. But is life all about having a perfect dialogue or interaction with human beings at all times? No, absolutely not. So the best way to cover yourself is just to protect your behavior and allow Yah to see that. Because it's going to tell you, it's going to show you how you're submissive, which is often misunderstood. It doesn't mean that a wife should be subservient to her husband. A lot of times that has been taught in the most vile way, but rather that she should willingly follow his leadership and respect his authority. See, we wanted a husband so bad, right? We wanted him so bad. And then when we got him, there's some compromises that are going to be had, that's needed. And so you have to gear your mind to understand you're living a life not just for you. And in fact, you're a helpmate to someone. So you're a rib to someone. You're helping that. You're assisting. Now, while you do administrate the home and you're very valuable, because again, you're far more precious than jewels, okay? But the reality is that we did put our husbands in leadership of our lives. And we need to honor him by submitting and being respectful. And the Most High will then, in turn, he'll stand up for you. Okay? He'll stand up for you. Now, she opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She looks well to the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Now, that's also a Proverbs 31 woman, 26 and 27. But this describes a wife that's wise. She's kind. She's diligent. She takes care of her family. She manages her household properly. She's not wasteful. She's doing good things. So if you're doing these things, Akoti, then, that eliminates the fingers being pointed at you as far as the turmoil in your marriage, right? Because you're doing what you need to do. The Most High is giving you grace and mercy and favor. And again, you should be winning over your husband with these behaviors. But are you doing these things? Are you responding wisely, kindly, and diligently? Even, again, with the toughest of personalities, because I get it, Akoti, I do. But we just have to do our part, okay? And it's just guidance. It's just for us to be encouraged, to remind you the importance of trusting that your husband can trust you, that you're not going to betray them with your evil words or wicked ways, to respect him. Even when it's tough, even when sometimes you may feel that you're not being respected back, because you know that you count on the Most High. He will never lie. And he said that you can win him over with your behaviors. You're using wisdom when you speak. So you're always teaching kindness and teaching the right thing, and you're being diligent in your role as a wife and a mom, taking care of your household, doing your part, right? Then allow the Most High to add the increase and to bless you and to help to rekindle your situation. And communicate with your loved one. Make sure you give your partner grace. Don't assume you know what's going on with your partner, or that this person may feel this way or that way. Always get clarity. Seek diligently into a matter. And get to know your partner on a deeper level. See, sometimes we don't get to know our husbands on a deeper level. What is it that he really aspires? Are we a safe place for them to let us know their challenges, their visions, their dreams? And listen, you can disagree, okay? It is legal. So just make a list of them, discuss them, but work on yourself. Listen, I'm always thinking of better ways to make myself more attractive spiritually, for my husband personally, physically, and, educate myself and to, just be a better wife all the way around, to be able to bring in more for the family, for the sisterhood. And that helps me to not worry so much about what somebody else is doing. And here's a real big one, sis. Let's just do this. Let's stop criticizing and express concerns effectively instead of criticizing. We criticize so much. We criticize each other. We criticize our husbands, our wives. We criticize. Oh, so critical. Why? Because we all know that Yeshua is the perfect one. So why? Why are we criticizing so much? Go back to the last one. Work on yourself. Look in the mirror. Wow, when there's one finger pointing out, there's about 3 or 4 pointing right back at you. Okay? So, this is just a little sister talk, y'all. If you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen, fellas. Listen, this is your host, Tafara Yashara. I ain't going to tell you wrong here on My Sister's Keeper radio show and podcast.
Like Egypt.
You're tuned
When
into
he
My
parted the Red
Sister's
Sea.
Keeper radio show
When he
and
killed the
podcast.
enemies. Like Jonah in the well. In the belly of the beast, let's flee. Flee, flee, we gotta flee. Put your trust in the Most High. Flee, flee.
It's like Babylon the Great, Sodom and Gomorrah. Welcome
You're
to
tuned
Egypt, the
to
modern
My
day United
Sister's
Snakes.
Keeper
Everybody
radio
know
show
slavery
and
made
podcast.
America great. All I see is evil and broken people. No law, no order. Better get yourself in order. We gonna have to flee about this land. Flee right into the Most High's hands, as it's written. Yeah, what signs to see? Pick up the book of laws. it's time to see everything that's been hidden is being revealed, and the prophecies are being fulfilled.
We gotta flee, 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 flee. We gotta flee. It's reality, the fall is calling. We gotta flee, 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 flee.
You're tuned to My Sister's
This is life, and we gotta get life right. Trying to get it right, child, coming from the south side. I look up to the most high, put my hands up and let my prayers slide. This is us, we the chosen seed. This is us, now we gotta lead. We ain't winning no games, till my people finally find a way to change. Time to go back home until our head comes back. Waiting on the white folks to release them facts. Most side willing, we make it out to here. Look into the world, it's written there, it's clear we flee. Oh yeah, flee. Everything about you is everything about me. Look up for the core in the center of my being, trying to understand the meaning. I'm just a daughter in the mist. Home of the free, oh, when I miss. There'll be a day you won't exist. So let's flee, resist the devil. Cause he gonna get your ass in trouble. You better gotta flee, 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 flee. We gotta flee. It's reality, the fall is calling. We gotta flee, 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 flee. We gotta flee, we gotta flee, we gotta flee, we gotta flee. Flee, 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 flee.
You're tuned into My Sister's Keeper radio show and podcast.
She's got that sisters doing it right. Hands to the sky, represent the most high. Yeah, she confident, and she knows her worth. She set apart, and she knows the word. You know who? Precious more than rubies. You know who? Always holding it down. You know who? Not vain, cause she knows true beauty. Yeah, she's got that glory when she wear that fro. So close, so lovely how her wool just flows beautifully. All the glory she's got to know. Her crown is holy, but she speaks to the Father. But she's got that
we blowing the shofar. Soldier like hoorah, dropping songs like say lie, giving praise to Ahaya while we waiting on me. Yasha Khan, yes, I praise the Father, I'm blessed. I woke up this morning, appreciating stanky breath. Look, never mind all the rumors, trying to be set apart like a loner. Got scared, but my Abba promised, so I'm looking for me. Got on
who strengthened me, which make the obstacle solvable. Babylon falling in order like dominoes. Chronicles prophesied, I'm an abominos. Will I re-open or back the kingdom? What do I don't know? But why should you to cross over? Cross over, yeah. Why should you to cross over? Yeah. Why should you to cross over? Why should you to cross over? Why should you to cross over? Cross over, yeah. Why should you to cross over? Why should you to cross over? Why should you to cross over?
You're tuned into My Sister's Keeper. Yes, you are. You're tuned in to My Sister's Keeper radio show and podcast with your host, Tafara Yasharal, here on Sundays at 6. It's Sisterhood Sunday, and we are just talking, sis. We are talking today. And so I wanted to jump into how to be a better sister. Oh, my goodness. I also get is equally amount of inquiries about and just situations dealing with the sisterhood. You know, I'll be honest with you, it's not easy being on the same page at the same time with women, okay? I get it. So we're just going to talk a little bit more about the sisterhood, what it means, how can we be better sisters, not only to our siblings, because we have our physical bloodline family, but our sisterhood in the nation, our sisters in Christ. And so, you know, there's just some foundation things that if we just keep it in mind, we can offer ourselves and we can heal and be a better sister. You know, the Most High has a lot in store for us, and we are to uplift each other. You know, that we're supposed to teach one another. And so we have to make it, like I said, a safe place, and we have to make it a positive environment. And a lot of us are healing. A lot of us are healing from some broken friendships, some broken relationships, some behavior that we've seen with our parents. And we know that it has caused us to have some tough relationships with some of our siblings. And it allowed us to be a little frightful of trusting our adult women outside, you know, friends, folks that have come across our lives and have come into our lives. And so, you know, it's always, you know, important for us to just make sure that we love each other, that we love one another, that we can provide support, because we got. You know, and, you know, here's a really good question for you. Do people consider you to be a good sister? Are you having trouble with keeping your sisterhood circle tight? Is there some things that are going on that you just don't feel comfortable with even speaking about because you don't feel that you don't want to be confrontational? Well, listen, I'm here to tell you that that's not healthy, because it starts with you. You have to be honest. You have to understand that there's something going on and it needs to be resolved. We shouldn't walk around with a heavy burden. We should definitely look to get rid of any resentments or any burdens or any, you know, contention. So it's always wise to go and approach one-on-one to that individual that you are seeking. But before so, seek the wisdom of Yah. Go into your prayer closet. If you got to fast and pray about it, please do. But make sure that you are able to communicate. I think a lot of times is that we don't communicate directly with people. We do a lot of indirect communication, and then it causes confusion, and then that's when the strife starts. But, here's where you can checklist yourself to see if you're doing your part in the whole sisterhood equation. Number one, are you being supportive? A good sister's always supportive, regardless if you don't, particularly care for or agree completely with your sister's decisions or, whatever it is that they're going through. And as long as it's of righteousness, just be supportive. If it's something that's salvation related that's going to hurt your sis, make sure that you speak the wisdom to them. But if it's not salvation related and it's something, and maybe they just haven't gotten to the point where they see that there's a better way. Maybe they just haven't gotten there yet. You don't press the issue. Some people, it takes them time to make a decision or to arrive somewhere, a place where you are, a place where you feel that they should be. I think that support can definitely keep you in the clear while you're being honest that you may or may not completely agree. You do support them. And then maybe in the future, if they decide to have a change of heart, they will feel comfortable coming back to you, the one person who didn't, deny them or judge them when they were making that decision. So that goes into being an active listener. A good sis is always listening. Just like a best friend. When we were younger, we were always listening to our best friend. We were talking in the room, on the phone, about our heartbreaks, our stories, our crushes. Sometimes we do need to rant. Now, there's a difference between gossiping and ranting. And yes, we all have been there, and we've all made a confused decision on that. I'll be the first. Again, I try to use myself as an example, because there's been times where I angrily would rant, and I would just have 1,000,001 complaints, and it would come off so heavy to those individuals that I was seeking out their ear. And it didn't sound so much like, me just venting, but it more so sound like a lot of strife. So you have to balance that out. But find you someone that you trust, okay? A trusted circle. See, everyone doesn't need to be your counselor. If I were you, I'd be focusing on individuals that are close, that have proven themselves, that are in my ministry, that have walked this walk with me, that have, some similarities that can give me the wisdom that I need. But any and everybody, is not an ear. Okay, so just make sure, or you could even anonymously send in any of your thoughts or concerns or anything that you need help with. You can send it over to My Sister's Keeper Radio at Gmail, and we'll do our very best to pray and to find the word for you and get the advice that you need. So that way you won't be feeling judged, and that you can have a safe place to discuss your feelings, because we have to be trustworthy with each other's information. And so if I can't tell you something and it makes me feel or look less than perfect, and then you judge me by it, you're not giving me that safe space. You're not giving me a long-term sort of a sisterhood interaction. And so being trustworthy is something that you should value. If you want to be a better sis, prove that you're trustworthy. Keep the secrets safe. Don't betray one another. Give each other kindness. If you see a sister that needs some advice or something salvation related, do it with virtue, with wisdom. Just try to be as humble as you can. Don't discuss things with other people without folks' permission. That's one girl code that sometimes we think it's okay because we think, well, that other person doesn't know, or that other person will never find out that sometimes things is just it's all about integrity. And integrity is the things that you do when no one is looking. Now here's another one. Be honest. You have to be honest. Don't be afraid of telling your people the truth. Always be upfront. Even if you have to correct somebody when they're wrong, just be upfront. Be as loving as possible, but make sure to speak the truth. And in this walk, I guess it's no matter how harsh it is, because it could be salvation related. Make sure that your sis is doing what is necessary according to this word. And, if you can't get through to your sis, pray for her. Bring another Akoti. And if you still can't get through to her, pray for her even more. And allow her ministry or the assembly to come and try to rely on their wisdom. But rely on the Father. The Father will take it to the next level. But don't compete with your sister. I find that a lot of us are aspiring to do a lot of the same things. A lot of us are doing clothing. We're in music. We're in radio. We're in fashion. We're teachers. We feed the homeless. We host a lot of events. We do a lot. And a lot of the things that we do are similar. And I try to strive to stay within the circle and the parameters of supporting all of my Akotis. No need to compete. We all are here. It's us against the world. And so there's room for us. So, sometimes we can sacrifice, our own accomplishments to help others succeed. And that is just such a wonderful, wonderful gesture. But always make sure that your sister doesn't see you as a rival. That you're always in support of, that you're communicating, that you're not doing things underhanded with an agenda. Because we can see through those with the spirit of truth can see through you. And when you're coming with an agenda, when you're really doing things for yourself and not for the righteousness and for the Most High, it can be seen, Sister Akoti. So be careful. Because if you want to aspire to be great and be of the things of the world, then be of the world. But anything that is of Yeshua is going to come with that unconditional love, humility, honesty, respect. And it's just going to be righteous. And you're going to do things decently and in order. And your sis is not going to feel that you're competing or trying to take her shine or diminish her light. We got to all do our part. And I often, when I step into an arena, I say, well, what can I do for you? How can I help before I start to put my hand out? That is just such a wonderful way to approach all life situations. When you need something, what can you do to give? We're always looking for something from someone. What can we give? So, sisters are also forgiving. How forgiving are you, sis? Do you really care? Are you dwelling on rage and anger? Are you angry at your siblings? Are you just gonna not forgive, hold a grudge for life? Me and my sisters, we have to work on that. Sometimes we'll get into situations where there's misunderstandings. Somebody's not telling the full side of the story. Folks weren't there. People are just choosing to feel the way that they want to feel. And sometimes it's just a layer of pain and hurt. Well, maybe you didn't call when I needed you to call, or you weren't there when I needed you to be there, and I didn't have the heart to tell you, so I walked around with that, and I held that grudge for many years. Or I just don't see you as my sis. You're not there for me. You haven't been around for a long time. I can't identify with you. Well, see, there's honesty. When someone can tell you in peace how they feel, and you not get offended or scold them, you can get through it. You can care, because we are known for innocent and caring hearts. If your sister is in need, who else but a wonderful sister to be there to dry your eyes and pick you up when you fall and let you know how amazing you are. So, sis, I hope that this was encouraging to you to help you get back on track with your sisterhood, how to become a better sister. I know I am definitely looking forward to meeting all of you and, being a part of the sisterhood. And right now we're just growing, we're developing. Here in Atlanta, we really have found that the sisterhood scene here is just huge and amazing. If it's not just within the regular community, within the Hebrew community, we have really, really, shown our colors here. And I've just been welcomed by so many. And those of you across the country listening in, and across the world for that matter, tap into your sisterhood in your neighborhood, in your area. Get with your sisters, do brunches, just sit with each other, get involved in each other's lives, get involved with each other's kids. Really try to come together, because we are all we got, honey. Well, listen, you're tuned into My Sisters Keeper Radio. More coming up next. You're tuned
Here we go.
to My Sisters Keeper Radio.
Cameron Joy, that's a Queen O. Open writers, this is Joy on the track. My sis and I are back. Whether we shop or we flat, dry, we don't lack. Strike a match. that he gave to his two daughters. Hot like lava, regardless of the trauma in the aqua toasting pina coladas. Yeah, we couldn't do it. Now we here to prove it. Mountains had to move 'em. True, couldn't dilute it. This energy. Let's go. Level had to raise the chance. We had to take it. Purpose in the making. There is no mistaking this. Frequency. We're higher than the clouds. It's something with that sound. Compiling all the pages from the days when we were down. If you looking at us now, the change is quite profound. People covering their mouths like, wow. Them girls is some mountain movers. We just giving you a little taste of the future. Filled up to the brim with the ruah. Time is ticking on the clock. Gotta keep it moving. Don't stop. People need what we got, and the need is a lot. Bring a dream for the lost. Lead them to the water. We a team in the hands of the potter, and we really let them move us where we wanna. Take the wheel, laying hands on the sick, cause the girls is ill. And no, it's not a trick, we just spirit feel. Yeah, this is real, let's do it. Now everybody put your hands up and just lose it. Said we couldn't do it, now we're here to prove it. Mountains had to move 'em, true, couldn't dilute it. This energy. Level had to raise the chance, we had to take it. Purpose in the making, there is no mistaking this. Frequency. You might think we're from outer space, the way we're high and above the pace. Never will we ever be replaced. Too many hits and trails to place. Higher than higher than the clouds, higher than the clouds. Said we couldn't do it, now we're here to prove it. Mountains had to move 'em, true, couldn't dilute it. This energy. Level had to raise the chance, we had to take it. Purpose in the making, there is no mistaking this. Frequency. Said we couldn't do it, now we're here to prove it. Mountains had to move 'em, true, couldn't dilute it. This energy. Level had to raise the chance, we had to take it. Purpose in the making, there is no mistaking this. Frequency.
And podcast. Welcome back to the show. Listen, we are coming to a rapid ending here, so I want to leave you with something. I want to leave you with something wise, sis, on this Sister Sunday talk. I hope that our talks were edifying you and gave you some food for thought. You know, we have much more coming on each Sunday, so make sure to stay tuned in. But this is what I want to leave you with. It's the parable of the 10 virgins. Sis, this is what we have to do. Okay, this is wisdom. This is from girls to women, right? So in Matthew 25, verses 1 through 13, it says, Then the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. For when the foolish took their lamps, they took no oil with them, but the wise took flasks of oil with their lamps. As the bridegroom was delayed, they all became drowsy and slept. But at midnight there was a cry, Here is the bridegroom, come out to meet him. Then all those virgins rose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said to the wise, Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Since there will be not enough for us and for you, go rather to the dealers and buy for yourselves. And while they were going to buy, the bridegroom came. And those who were ready went in with him to the marriage feast, and the door was shut. Afterward, the other virgins came also, saying, Yah, open to us. But he answered, Truly I say to you, I do not know you. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day or the hour. So what he's saying is, sis, get your oil, which means load up in wisdom, get into this word, get your spiritual food, build up your treasures in heaven. Because when that day comes, when the bridegroom is ready to take us in, we have to be ready. We can't just, give everything that we have to everyone else. We have to save some for ourselves. We have to practice wisdom and practice righteousness. There's going to be a time where, Akoti, I'm not going to be able to tarry with you. And so it's important for you, sis, to take this show and those that are come before you or around you that are looking to edify you and to teach you and to show you a better way of virtuosity and how to get to the kingdom. See, it's only one way, and that's through Yeshua. So, sis, where's your oil? I'll see you guys next Sunday on My Sister's Keeper Radio and podcast.
You're tuned in to My Sister's Keeper radio show each and every Sunday at 6 p.m. here on Blog Talk Radio. Be sure to follow My Sister's Keeper radio on all social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, and join our live podcast discussions on all podcast platforms where we provide a voice for today's Hebrew woman. Based on the foundation of the Word, we discuss culture, music, news, health, family, relationships, and provide a safe platform for our daughters of Zion to find spirit when coming into the truth.